Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Sensei's Thoughts podcast. And as you can see, everything is live, always will be live on Sundays, and mistakes do happen, little glitches happen. But nonetheless, very excited for today's podcast because I have, nonetheless, my brother, Logic. He's with us today. Unfortunately, we don't have the rest of the panel, but it's okay. It's okay. Between me and him, the conversations get very excited. I mean, literally to the point where beforehand, behind the scenes, we had about a 2-hour conversation about life. So that's always a pleasure. I think it's starting to become an excuse for me to actually be around him every weekend. So it's a pleasure. It's always an honor. But Logic, what's up?
You're chilling, brother, chilling. Thanks for those kind words. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, don't worry. My back, it'll be heavy from carrying, the podcast. So it's like, I worked it out a little bit. So it's
Right.
like, just crack the neck. But I'm here and I'm happy. I was looking forward to this, honestly, all week, just to shoot the shit. I mean, we do it. Like, it's literally what we do. We're shooting the shit. We're talking about what we do.
Literally what we do. We talk, we shoot the shit, and we talk about it. That's
Shoot
what
the
we
shit.
do.
So
But,
I'm excited.
Let me adjust the camera a little bit. Looks like I'm way too high there. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. So no, man, it's been. I mean, I look forward to these days. Every single Sunday, I look forward to meeting up with the guys, the fellas. Unfortunately, they had some prior engagements. That's okay. Life happens. But we are able to put this together. Just between me and you, we spoke a little bit behind the scenes about the things we're going to be talking about. But I'm just excited, man. So what you did all week, man? What's up? What's on your? I don't know. What happened? What happened in your week?
A little bit of gaming, a little bit of still recovering, from the surgery and stuff like that. Couldn't get the second one through, but it's all right. It'll get it rescheduled and stuff like that. It had some scheduling issues, but yeah,
Okay.
no, just gaming, watching some shows. I got the notification, actually. It came up on my phone the other day. I think it was from HBO. They were like, "Oh, 10-year anniversary of Game of Thrones," and like I got it literally as I was like in the 8th season of Game of Thrones because I just binged it, last week. So it's like, all right, like I was a little bit early.
You finished it?
Yeah, I finished it again.
Yeah, man.
But I also I watched it, and it was also another funny thing too. Heartbeat's fiance, Manny, tweeted him on Facebook the other day. I might be exposing him a little bit, but like messaged him on Facebook the other day and was like, I don't understand people that like go back to rewatch shows, or it was something that she posted that basically said to the essence of like, oh, people that rewatch shows like might have like anxiety and stuff like that, and they do that as like a comfort thing. And I'm over here saying to myself, like, I like shit. Like if I like a show, I rewatch it. It's like the West Wing. Like I basically I call it the lines from the West Wing now, but
Yeah.
I take enough. It's not like I rewatch it like every other month. Like after a couple of months will go by, 6 months, maybe even a year, I'll go back and I'll rewatch it because I enjoy.
I mean, regardless if it's every week, every month, or however you do watch it, it's one of my. I just started watching The Wire again yesterday.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean?
For the third time, I'm watching The Wire. It's on HBO, Max. So I'm going, oh, perfect. Let me watch it.
Exactly.
And I literally, from that show, I can quote you lines and go, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen. Obviously, I know.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. I don't do that for everything, but like there are certain classic, iconic shows that I will rewatch. The Unit, it's another one. Love that show. Yeah. I've been through that show 6 different times. If you guys don't know, I feel The Unit, that's a show from back in days. That was one of our shows back then that was really good. It's like it had military, based on military and military wives and that kind of stuff. But that's a show I watch every now and again. So I don't not necessarily understand the anxiety part or the
I get it, like the way that it was explained, but like I wouldn't say that. I feel good when I rewatch the shows. I mean, they bring me, but the shows, like I enjoyed them so much. I mean, it was like how I used to be with 24, for example. I was a huge 24 guy.
Oh my god, stop it!
Like that's what I mean. Like we all like like back even as a kid, just watching fucking 24. Kiefer Sutherland. That was amazing.
And Kiefer Sutherland, you said
and Kiefer Sutherland
and Kiefer Sutherland.
I mean? Man,
I mean,
but
it's that's just it. I mean, I know the newer, what was the newest one called? Legacy. Well,
yeah,
the newer one is not Legacy, but the one is it Legacy?
I don't
know. The new actor.
It could have been, but that one, I don't know if it was still continuing. I don't know if they still continued it.
There was one they did for years later with Jack Bauer still coming back, but it was like more like a movie, I believe it was.
Yeah, and they shaved it down too. They didn't do it like my favorite 24s are the 24s where you had literally 24 episodes.
Yes, 24
and you took me
episodes.
through every. I mean, to try to get that show off now, on like regular syndicated television, like Fox or something, it maybe doesn't work. For a streaming service, though, I think it worked perfectly. You know what I mean?
It did.
So,
But the newer last one he did was not the 24-hour episode. I think it was 12 episodes.
yeah, they condensed it. Yeah,
they condensed it. Still good, but not as great.
Yeah.
Well, for me, what I've been doing, I did this week. Finished up Outriders. It's still my game, as you can see, it's playing on the screen.
You were allowed. You were given the opportunity. You were allowed.
I've been fortunate, allowed by the servers of the God servers.
You know what I didn't ask you? How many times have you crashed at all while playing?
God.
Okay, so see that was the thing, and I was waiting to ask you because I was going to ask you before that. I was like, let me just catch you hot on the podcast.
Oh shit!
How many times? Not to shit on me.
Really? You had to wait for the cameras to be on for that shit?
I just want to know how did you? I'm sure you count. How many times did you crash?
Jesus. Luckily on this stream that I show right here, I didn't crash at all. But
okay,
I was solo here. No, actually, I was with Money, with Jonathan. But no, man. It literally, if we're playing a session, let's say a 2-hour session,
yeah,
we'll crash about 3 or 4 times, man.
Okay,
and not like this.
Is it a loading crash? Is it like I'm just standing around and things happen or is it just things are getting too crazy?
Dude, I have a list of different ways the shit crashed.
Okay,
like it's like unique every single goddamn time. Like it'll crash in a way where if you're the host, it'll tell whoever joined you who's playing with you, waiting for a host to connect, and I'm in the game playing, and Money's there going, "Hey man, I'm waiting for you to connect." I'm like, I'm literally beating the boss right now. Disconnect. It'll disconnect in a way with a hard boot straight to the dashboard. And I'm talking about Series X for those who are listening. Straight to the dashboard, man. Like no error, no. Hey, you're going back to the dashboard. That's what it is. Forget fuck the legendary you just got. Like it's gone. Like that whole mission. Oh yeah, you got to replay the whole shit.
So they were, and that's another thing too. The drops weren't saving on the server side.
They were not saving.
Even though you got it, so you'd load back in, and then you literally would just lose. At least you weren't one of the people, one of the many that were losing their entire characters.
I'm lucky. That was the after patch. That was the after patch because they just patched it about 2 days ago. Yeah. Where now we can crossplay. I'm finally able to play with my buddy over in PC World, which is Reborn.
Very nice.
Able to play with him. We're still crashing, but now we're cross-playing it up. So progress, baby steps happening.
Yep.
But yeah, now I hear this new bug, which now I'm afraid to even jump in there because I got some good loot. Like the thing is that they tweeted out today, I believe they tweeted out a couple hours ago. They tweeted out people can fly, or whatever that group is called. But they tweeted out. They tweeted out where they have they safeguarded so it won't wipe again. But what I was afraid of is that they never mentioned specifically for those who got affected by the bug. Are they recovering that? That's my fear.
I feel like this has happened in other games before, and I don't know if they've actually been able to recover. Like I don't know if they just did compensation, if they just said, "Oh, hey, here's something for the community." Sorry. You know what I mean?
They did mention that they were gonna give us. I think Money and Reborn both got something compensated. I haven't got mine yet. You have to go to like your loot crate or something in the.
Okay.
Like when you go back to your hub, like back to your crew, you gotta look in this suitcase thing, and then it'll show you if you got anything from them. I haven't got it yet, but it's supposed to be a legendary.
Okay.
For the all the troubles, but. Again, I'm afraid to jump in that game right now because of that wiping bug thing. Because it has happened in other games before. I remember. I can't tell you specifically which game, but I do remember it's happened before. To the point where, but it was I guess backed up on the cloud server or something, so that when they fixed it, you got your stuff right back. So you didn't have to be worried about that stuff, even though it was like, oh my god, I lost all my stuff. You still knew you're gonna get it back because the company. They spoke about that. Hey, don't worry about it. It's a bug on our end. Server side will fix it. Once everything's fixed, you get your stuff back. No worries. We have it here saved. They haven't done this yet. People can fly. They have just not done any. They mentioned it that the whole bug exists and that they safeguarding it, but they just have not said, "Don't worry about it. You're gonna get your stuff back." So
now I know you. Now I know this wasn't even supposed. We kind of just jumped right into this because I know you were like just trying to say like, "Hey, here's my week I played," and I didn't mean to jump down your throat. But I have to ask you if this game wasn't on Game Pass. On a
Shit.
scale from 1 to 10, how pissed would you be right now? Like
If
if you weren't already paying for service at this point, and you knew that you spent 60, 70, 80, whatever you spent on the game, like how pissed would you be
Well,
to have a game launch in this state?
Well, I'll tell you right now, shit. I know I'm paying for service, but I'm upset in the entitled side of things.
Okay.
I'm entitled, so I got my Game Pass subscription. The shit has to work. So I am upset, and I'm paying for service, but I would not. Oh my god!
Game after game after game after game, especially games like this. Like we're not even like forget the whole like we can make this really general and be like AAA games general now. When they come out, they just don't come out working. Like we could really generalize it, but specifically to this genre, to this, if you want to call it looter shooter, they try to avoid the whole live service thing. But yet we had that conversation before. It's like, well, we understand your game's not live service, but yet you need to have servers working in order to play your game. Mm-hmm. So it's like, and then, and if you're even able to play the game at this point, you have all of these bugs and issues and stuff like that, that maybe if you gave it another couple of more months, do you think maybe it would be but like, you know what I mean? Like, why are we still getting games coming out with this many bugs at the launch?
The thing is that this is spoken about many years ago, and I realized that this is not even a topic. And I mean, it was supposed to be a topic later on, maybe in our things to talk about, as we mentioned. But we'll jump right into it. I mean, we had this conversation even years ago when the Xbox One, the PS4, and all that was talked about, where stuff is going to be coming now, cloud server and cloud gaming, and this, like, everything's going to be server based. Easier. The world's supposed to interact better. The AI was supposed to improve dramatically, unless you're talking about Cyberpunk and you got the same AI over and over again. But it's just crazy. But it was supposed to be that. But at the same time, we as not just gamers who play on the server side, but deep diving into stuff like we always do in our chats, in our technical chats that we always have in our party chats, we spoke about how in the long run, how it was going to impact negatively. Because you always have to be online. Remember the DRM talk? That was a big, Xbox got a whole big backlash on that because you had to always be connected. The Kinect had to be on. All that had to be happening for you to play a game. They kind of reverted back to it, but still we are in this stage right now that we are playing with games that has to be always connected. I don't think there's any games, if there's any, it's very few that you can play offline at this point in time. Like you have to have it online.
Right. And I'm not just singling out Outriders. There's almost any game that you play currently. I'm playing Destiny. It's like you can't play that game if their servers aren't working.
You cannot.
Like there's no single player experience and stuff like that too. Unfortunately, these are the games that I tend to enjoy and fall back on and stuff. But and it took a while too. It's not like Destiny didn't launch with a bunch of problems and stuff. Launch issues, server issues, and things like that. But just when you're talking about, a company like Square Enix that backed People Can Fly. People Can Fly have been around now. They've made a couple of AAA titles. You know what I mean? Square Enix has been around since the year of the fucking flood. I'm sorry. They've literally been around forever. Maybe they don't have Activision money, but you know what? They got a lot of money because Final Fantasy 14 didn't go anywhere anytime soon.
You're absolutely right. And they're getting money from both sides.
They're getting money literally hand and foot from, whatever micro subscription services, things like that. Like, they might not be necessarily as big as an Active Blizzard, but they're big enough where they have the money and the resources. So what's the excuse? Like, are we circling back to, is this just something that we just have to come to expect? Is it something where, like, because me personally, it's like, I'm on PC. I'd like to play this game possibly with my friends, but am I investing my $60 now to buy this game in this state and not have a good time and then have, the possibility of crashing, of losing my stuff? And should I just wait? Like, if I was really a diehard, I was really like, they did a good job with marketing and stuff like that. And the game, and you'll attest to this because you played the game. I only played the beta. You play the game. When the game works, the game is actually a lot of fun.
Oh shit!
When it works. The reviews that I've seen and stuff like that, and just to piggyback off of some reviews and stuff like that, when the game is working, it is a solid game. It's a solid title
across the board.
Just with the looting and stuff like that, the excitement. You've only been through one character so far. You beat it. You've been through one character. You're talking about launching, your second characters and stuff like that, and that's cool to go back into the grind and stuff. But it's like, it just sucks that it has to once again be another situation where it just can't. I don't expect it to be perfect, but it's like going back to Fallout 76. like I said, any one of these games, it's like whether it's server issues, whether connectivity issues, game state issues, stability issues across the board, console, PC, doesn't matter. You're still running into issues, no matter how good your computer is, no matter how new your console is. It doesn't matter.
Not at all. And that's a shame. That's a shameful side of things. I mean, I hate to say that we have gotten used to or have to get used to something like that when it comes to server side games and live always active. I hate that we have to get used to something like that, but unfortunately we do. My thing is though, these companies have to then now start thinking about different strategies. So if you know you're gonna, if you know that if you didn't expect this game to be this popular, even after you said that Game Pass is going to be on Game Pass day one, you didn't expect it. Fine, you didn't expect it. I don't know what company thinks they're not going to be successful, but I would hope you go into a production and launch of a game saying it's going to be successful. Yeah. But let's just say for argument's sake, they didn't expect this, right? They didn't expect the inflation of people just getting on here and playing it. I mean, boggles my mind that didn't. But let's just say that you got to start thinking of strategies now. You got to start thinking, be transparent with the community. You have a game that launched now. Now you got to be transparent. You got to show us what you're working on, how you plan on fixing it. Like, give us, what's that called? When they give you a roadmap. There you go. When they give you a roadmap of showing you this is exactly what's happening. You know, we're gonna come out with content here, but before content, we're gonna work on the server side here. It's always gonna be when is maintenance happening, so we can expect Tuesdays at 4:00 in the afternoon, Eastern, whatever time it is. We're gonna go ahead and do maintenance on the server side. So that way, as a gamer, I'm going. They're consistently working on a weekly basis. I know that day, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever they pick, at this time, they will be refreshing and fixing and updating the service. That's cool because now I'm seeing that they're actively working on this game, and I don't have to waste my time going, are they really working on this or not? Like, let me give them a couple of more patches. And I've seen this a lot with previous games. Let me give it a couple of patches, and I'll get back to it. What happens is, couple of patches happen, you don't get back to it because what happens? Other games that got your interest has come out,
and now it's on your backlog.
Now it's on your backlog, and you're on Twitter world, talking about my backlog is huge. It's like, because you wanted those patches to come out, and you promised yourself, I'll get back to it. Look, I'm the same guy. I'm talking about Cyberpunk. My Cyberpunk was not bad. Fortunately, again, I was on the good side of things where my Cyberpunk worked. I mean, other than the cops being idiots in that game, it worked.
Yeah.
But I'm that guy that says, you know what? I'm going to wait for those patches to come out. I'm going to wait for that optimization because I want to play the way it was intended to play. So I'm going to wait. Unfortunately, that company got hacked and stuff got leaked or whatever happened there. So a lot of that stuff got delayed. Now I'm waiting for an optimization patch. You think if they were to drop that game right now and say, surprise, optimization's out, that I'm going to drop my rotation right now of gaming to go, I'm going to go try out Cyberpunk? It's going to be one of those things like, now I got to make a choice. I'm playing Outriders. I'm playing Phoenix Rising's DLC. I'm playing different games. I got stuff coming up that I'm going to want to play. I don't have time enough for Cyberpunk. Let me put that in my backlog.
Yeah.
That's what's going to end up happening, But I'm glad we got that one out the way because Outriders, with all that being said, guys, Outriders is a fun game. As you can see, we're dancing on the screen. It is a fun game when it works. It is an awesome game when it works. So, it's getting heat right now, deservedly so, because the servers are not participating in the fun that we're trying to have. So Square Enix and people can fly. I know you don't hear this stream, but if it ever gets to you guys and you guys ever listen to this, I thank you guys for working these servers, but please, please, please be transparent and talk to us. Let us know what you're doing exactly. I can't deal with this one tweet a week thing. You have to let us know what's going on and hire a PR person so they could be the ones relaying this message out to the people. All right. So without further ado, we're going to get the show started. I think we already did, but we 20 minutes into Outriders and it's a hot topic. But I want to, before we get started into the topics we have at hand, I want to talk about a little bit about what's going to be on Game Pass, what's expected. What's going to be on Game Pass is Disneyland. We have NHL 21 from the EA side of things. I believe almost every sport now titles there for EA. It's going to be on with the inclusion now of EA with the NHL 21.
Yeah.
Of course, we have the MLB The Show 21 comes on a couple of weeks. I believe it's the 20th. It's that it drops. I can't wait for that. But that's not only going to be on the console for Game Pass day one, also going to be on the cloud. So you're going to be able to play this on your phone, on your tablet.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes, it's going to be on the cloud.
That's crazy.
So it's going to be also on the cloud. Dude, on my phone, on my tablet, playing with you.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I mean, it's amazing. Like through Game Pass Cloud. I know Money and Draven, your brother, was playing this week. Zombie Army 4.
Okay.
That dropped on Game Pass. I downloaded, I haven't played it yet, so I apologize. I don't have anything to talk about that yet. But from what they've told me, it's fun. It's a fun game. It's made by the people who do Sniper Elite.
Nice.
And I love Sniper Elite. So they did this.
It's what 505.
I'm not sure.
Are they a different company now?
It's
I believe
different company now.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly which Rebellion. I want to say.
Okay, that makes yeah. That sounds about right.
They dropped it, but not only are you getting it again, not just on console, but you're gonna get it on PC through Game Pass and the cloud. Another game you're able to play through your tablet and your phone or whatever you have there. But here's the beauty of it: it's dropped on Game Pass, not just the current gen version, but the free upgrade to it. You know, thanks to smart delivery, you're gonna get the optimized version of that game absolutely free. You don't have to pay extra for that.
Nice.
Then we have, oh my god, I wish we would drop this right now, but GTA 5 is back on Game Pass again. Like it's just never ending with this game, guys. Please stop playing this game. I really want a GTA 6. They're working on it. I know they're.
You know how much money Rockstar has made in the last 8 fucking years. This game.
Look, I put up. Look, I'll tell you right now. I put up, and I'm gonna read this because I put this up in my our little group chat that we have on the side. But
okay,
let me see if I can find this here. I put up an image in a group chat I'm with your brother and Reborn and also Money from 2001 to 2008, 7 years. GTA 3, GTA Vice City, GTA San Andreas, GTA 4. In that 7-year span. Can you guess what the fuck we got in the last 8 years? From 2013 to 2021?
From the same company? Or like we got...
From Rockstar.
Right, from Rockstar. Well, you got GTA 5 in 2013. And it literally launched with the Xbox One X. Because I remember getting it the same day. Because my aunt just told me I have the collector's edition strategy guide, the black book with the green V on it. I still have mine in plastic because I was that guy back then that just collects strategy guides, right?
I think we all
the hardcover ones too, the really nice ones. Yeah. You know, I get the game, and I got the one that came with the money. It was a special edition, collectors. Ooh. So it came with the lockbox.
Oh yes, with the key in the lockbox.
With the key in the lockbox. Okay, so 8 fucking years ago. And it was great, and it's still great now. So that's a testament to just how good that game is. But GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, which only just came out 2 years ago.
3 years. Yeah,
2 years ago. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Great, another great game as well. Red Dead Redemption, great, and that's it. And then you got
that's what we got as far as Rockstar goes. 2 games in the last 8 years.
In 8 years, and both of them with online communities, none as big, I don't think, as like GTA Online now, especially with RP. We can't even, and that's another thing too. With RP, you know, if you know anything about that now, just the no pixel server and things like that, and the streamers that are just like keeping the game alive. And then just normal DS, they just put out new DLC only a few weeks ago for this game. I mean, so it's like, let
me get close to this, Mike. For those of you playing GTA 5, stop it. Stop playing GTA 5. I want GTA 6 for God's sakes. Get off of GTA 5. There's nothing new on that game. Get off of it. And now they're talking about they're gonna do a version of it for the next this generation. I'm like, stop it! I don't need this no more.
I will take a remake. I mean, but here's the thing though, like I could literally, there have been patches and mods that have come out on the PC side that you could download, and like implement and stuff that'll give it like next gen graphics and enable ray tracing and stuff like that, which looks insane. Like all of those look, you know, great. They're not hard to install, but they're also not the easiest as well too. You know, which is cool. It's not from the developer. It's normally third party. Like it's people just like bored, like, oh, I'm gonna make this and I'm gonna do this really cool thing. And which is awesome and stuff. But honestly, like Rockstar is going to be, and this will kind of segue us into like possibly our next topic, which would be E3. Rockstar is going to be at E3. I better get a new IP, or you just tell me the fucking name. Just give me a name. and I'll shut the fuck up. Just give me a name.
Give me a fucking name.
Give me a name.
Flash
and you got it. And you got it. Right. Just literally just give me the V and give me the I, and then I'll shut the fuck up. That's it.
I am yours.
Just let me know that you're at least trying at this point, and you're not becoming fucking Valve and Gabe Newell, and you put out Counter-Strike Go, and then people buy skins, and then next thing you know, you make millions and billions of dollars over the next 6-7 years, and you never touch your game again, and you literally let microtransactions make you money hand over fist. Like don't do that to me. Don't be those people. I get it, making a product and then having it be that good where you could still support it, and still supporting that product 8 years later.
I expect that from a battle fucking royale game. Like that's like Fortnite and Warzone. Like this is going to be there forever because it's designed that way. We're talking about a GTA 5 that has a dated online mode. It's just, I went on not the other day. I didn't. My son went on the other day, and I'm looking at him playing. I'm like, what the shit is this? It's just not even. It's ugly. I'm going, what? Maybe I'm slow. I got the
your son is adding to in your own household.
My own household.
Is adding your own household. So you can't even. So it's very hypocritical of you to go on here on your podcast and tell people to stop playing the fucking game. Shit, your son's playing the game. Matter of fact, you need to go yell at him. You literally yell at that man. Okay, tell him enough is enough.
As much shit as I'm talking, if there was to remake a GTA 5, I'd probably get it. It's
ready. Give me the. I want GTA 3. Give me Vice City. Give me San Andreas remastered. That too. Give me that, and I'll shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Just like give me that, and I'm okay. Actually, I would be content. Give me remastered versions of 3, San Andreas, and Vice City for PC and console. I'll shut up.
All right. So now we have. So let's see.
I think we were still talking about there with like 1 or 2 because you went backwards the other way when you were talking about the games.
Yeah.
Game Pass. So if you wanted to just talk.
The last thing there is a little quirky game. I love quirky games. That's going to be on Game Pass, but it's called The Rain on Your Parade. Really quirky game. It's just one of those weirdo games that I love playing. Those kind of games. It's literally you're a cloud and you're going around raining on people's parade. That's the game. It's going to be on Game Pass, I think, the end of the month. But again, not only on the console, but on PC and on cloud. So a game like that, I'll probably be playing on my phone because it's just one of those games. But it's quirky. It's one of those games that I will enjoy playing on my own. I love games like that. But that's to round up the whole Game Pass side of things. Going back to the E3 thing, which is one of the biggest topics we're talking about today. So we've confirmed Rockstar is going to be there.
Yep.
I think Warner Brothers is going to be there. Xbox and Nintendo, it's interesting, very interesting because Warner Brothers, with this whole over the talks of, over like I think the last couple of months has been talked about them being bought out, not being bought out, and also they have the Suicide Squad game, and then the Arkham game or whatever that one else is called that got delayed.
Well, there was the Arkham Knights, right?
The one, it's Arkham Knight, which I think it's a live service game. I'm hoping it's not, but I think it's live service, 4-player co-op. But that one got delayed. I don't know about the Suicide Squad. They haven't said anything since they shown it off back last year in July. So I'm interested. That was the one that looked like that. What was that exclusive Xbox game that came out? The art style. It's gonna kill me. For what do you mean? That looks just like the Suicide Kings or Suicide Squad?
Yeah, the Suicide Squad one. It has like a similar art style to or even
like that cell shaded look to it.
Yeah, I forget the game that came out. Sunset Overdrive.
Oh yeah. It has that cell shaded animated look.
Yeah, it had that kind of like feel to it and stuff.
Yeah, it looked interesting. I want to know more about it because all they showed off was like
the ABI. It was just a trailer. It was
just a trailer, CGI cut, whatever. Yeah. So I'm interested in seeing what they. So hopefully they come out in E3 and show that. So they're going to be there. Then you have your big. Others are going to be there, but you have your big guns like Xbox, Bethesda, and I believe they're going to split the show up to make them separate. Then you have your Nintendo's going to be there. Very interesting because they haven't been there since I believe 2014.
They've been doing directs, which I'm all for it too. Like I like the little directs that they do. If they're there, I don't know. I don't know if we talked about this off cam, but honestly, the only reason why I believe they're there is because they're pushing a new console.
We spoke on the chat with this. We chatted it up. We spoke about
honestly,
this,
I really do believe that Switch Pro. There's been rumors on it. There's been rumors on what it's gonna entail. New NVIDIA chipset on there, still powered by NVIDIA, but the 4K console when docked, it's like Switch Pro, and then OLED screen, possibly
That's a
still like
plus.
same size 7-inch, 7-inch OLED screen, but more powerful DLSS technology. For those of you who don't know, the
Yeah.
DLSS, the deep learning super sampling, basically, it's a technology that NVIDIA uses right now to basically push out 4K without like overtaxing like your graphics and stuff.
The
It
GPU.
basically it upscales, right?
Mhm.
It's able to upscale, so that's how you're gonna be able to get. And listen, I'm all for Mario Kart in 4K or Zelda in 4K.
Zelda,
I know a lot of
Luigi's
people that have Switches, Luigi's Mansion.
Mansion.
That they like.
Oh,
I think that would be so cool. Hopefully, they make it where it'll just automatically work with Switch games that are already there. It'll just upscale. Like, hopefully, that's just a thing where you don't have to, natively, where you don't have to get updated or like optimized versions of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll do that.
I don't know, but the thing is, them being at E3 again, they have not been there since like 2014.
Yeah.
I think I want to say 2014.
That's my call. That's what I feel.
But what else would they be there for? Because if they've been used to and accustomed to almost the last 10 years to do the direct thing, which I enjoy like yourself, I enjoy the direct stuff. That's the way, the little small portions, morsels here, morsels there. It gives me a snapshot of what they're working on right now, what's coming out in the future. I love that. But that they went out and say, hey, we're going to E3 this year. That's huge because to me, it can only mean, I mean, the rumors have been out there so long now for Switch Pro. We got to believe that it's true. The thing is that now you combine that with them being at E3. Oh, that's like, what else are you going to be there for? What are you going to show us? I mean, I want to see Switch Pro with them coming out E3. I want to see the Switch Pro and I want to see my Zelda. Do we know what Zelda we're talking about?
Well, are we remake or a brand new Zelda? Are we talking about?
No, I want a remake.
Okay. Well,
on the 4K?
You want Ocarina?
Oh, come on. Of course. Why not?
Imagine an Ocarina remake right now, though. That would actually be kind of nuts. That would be. I mean, that would be a pretty crazy.
That'll be. I mean, instant. Where's my wallet at? Let's throw it at them. Like if they can, if we haven't reached that technology yet, where I can throw my wallet at them.
Well, that'll sell the console right there. I mean, not that they need help selling the console, but that will. I mean, listen, the last Zelda game will sell the console because that's still how good that Zelda game is.
I want me a Metroid. I want me a Zelda and a Metroid.
I'll take a nice open world Metroid. Give
me a Metroid for God's sake. We're dying out here for the Metroid. Where's Metroid at? Where's Samus? I want her. Yeah. So Nintendo's going to be there, and as I mentioned, Bethesda as well. They already mentioned they're going to desolate the shows, meaning they're going to hard pause both shows back to back. They're going to make it seem like it's one show for Xbox, pause, and then another show for Bethesda. I mentioned this before in one of my podcasts, but I think the reason they're doing this, it makes sense. I believe Money's the one that brought this up. It makes sense because think about it. They still have contractual obligations to other platforms like the PlayStation, right? Which is and this is a good segue, but Deathloop, and then you have, I believe, Ghostwire, Tokyo Ghostwire.
Yeah,
those are two games from Bethesda that are exclusive to PlayStation for about a year or whatever. So I am assuming that they're doing the separate show because they can't mention these things on an Xbox show. Like it wouldn't just make sense. So that makes sense why they separated it. They're obviously going to be talking about different things. But they're probably gonna show off. They're gonna have to show off Deathloop and the Tokyo Ghostwire. They have to show that off.
You think even with Deathloop being delayed, they're gonna have something to show? Like
I don't think they're gonna. They're probably gonna. They're probably right now working on something they're gonna show at E3 because
maybe a gameplay demo. Maybe.
Well, they just showed off a gameplay demo recently, and I don't think it was received very well. Well, from what I saw from that demo they showed off, the sound was a little off on the game. It just didn't sound right. The shooting was not beefy enough. I don't know. It was something off about it.
Got it.
I'm not sure that's why they delayed it. I'm just assuming that's why they delayed it. But till September, which by the way, great call, because again, if it's not ready, it's not ready, man. We've already seen the debacle. What happens with Cyberpunk? All these years hyping up something comes out.
Halo. How about Halo? Do you think we see anything at E3 with Halo?
I'm sure we will, and I would think that the Xbox show will end with a Halo. Not just a splash screen of gameplay Halo. And I think it's probably even going to be multiplayer.
You think it ends or you think it starts with Halo?
I think it ends with Halo. It's going to end with Halo, yeah. And I think the Bethesda show will probably end with, what's that one game? I can't even think. Everybody. I forgot what it's called. Starfield? I forgot what it's called. I'm failing at the gamer right now, so I apologize. But it's one of those IPs that's original, that's been talked about for many years that, I think recently they leaked out some images on it, but for whatever reason, they got hush really quick. Like they showed images and stuff of the game,
right?
And then all of a sudden, just nobody's talking about it no more, which I found that very weird. Like when something like that leaks of that stature,
right?
I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna catch so much, like a snowball effect. It's gonna catch that attention. Look, dude, it died like in about 3 days. That whole thing just got squashed. Like we literally saw a video B-roll of the game being played, and nobody picked up on it. Like maybe Kotaku, whatever, but it was like squash. I don't know if that's the Godfather Phil over there, doing his thing and saying, "Hey, squash that real quick right now."
Yeah, a couple of cease and desists,
a couple of cease and desists. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Wait, what's going on here, gentlemen? I thought there was going to be an open. Look at this.
I'm not. I was gonna say it's like no alcohol over here for me.
It is a Sunday.
It's a pretty crappy day outside.
It is crappy day. I'm in Florida. You're in what, New York?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm in Florida. So we've been having thunderstorms since yesterday. So it's been crappy out here as well. I was hoping this show can go on too, because my internet, like I told you earlier, behind the scenes, my internet was going in and out, and I was like, "Oh shit, I got to do the show." I really wanted to happen. It was gonna happen if I had to put together phones and hotspot shit. I was gonna do it because that was it. It's got to work. But yeah, where was I? So yeah, I think Bethesda will end this show with that big review of that game, with that big it's coming. Here we go. His gameplay. It's real, guys. It's real. So I think that's gonna happen there.
Do you think we get a Sony event before or after E3?
E3 is when, June? Right?
If it's June? Around the same, if they're gonna hold to like the same time. Normally it's the first week. It's the first weekend of June.
I don't know. Depending on what they got to show off. If they have a big enough show on a direct version of their own direct version, Sony Direct, because they've been out of E3. I know they're not going to E3 this year, and a lot of people make big. Oh my God, they don't have nothing to show off. They're not going to E3. Look, guys, I think you guys making a mountain of what do we call that? Mountain of an anthill. It's not that they're not going because they have nothing to show. They have not been going to E3 since, I believe they have been going since 2016.
It's been a few years for
sure. It's been a few years. They've
E3 has been fading as a whole, though.
Yes,
like it just been. As it a lot of the initial reason why you'd go there to talk about like new system launches and new games and stuff like that, and to show off the products and stuff, that was always big in the industry. But now, because of social media, because of direct access to consumers, you don't need the big platform anymore. If you want to say something, literally just go rent out a hall and say something, or not even just like start the stream, go to Twitch, and okay, here's what I got. Because consumers would rather that than having to wait. Oh, what time are they on again? Okay, wait, am I working that day? Wait, what's going on? You know how many times I've had to watch E3 on like a lunch break or something like that? I'm working.
It's the worst, man.
Or it's like worst. I literally, and this is how crazy it was for me, I try to plan off days. Because I try to plan off days around E3, especially if it was something that I really wanted to watch. Like if it was when I owned an Xbox previously, or when I wanted to see somebody's because I knew that there was a new game coming out from some developer, so I wanted to make sure I watched that developers conference. Like I made sure I was able to do it. I scheduled my work days around that shit. You know what I mean?
I think the most hardcore gamers did. I mean, there was times where, again, my lunch break, I would because my job would have things like the point system, right, with the attendance. And it'll be one of those things where it's like, okay, how many points I got for the month? Okay, I think I'll come back a little later because I would literally calculate where I'm at before with my attendance points and go, I can take the hit. And I would sit there and just watch my E3 and just come back whenever I come back, and just whatever, I'll take the hit. Or I would plan, like if they came out, which they mostly did, they came out in advance, what days they were going to be on, and I would look at the schedule for what I was interested in, which the Xbox, the Sony, the Nintendo, and I would say, okay, I need that day off. I need this day off or that day off. Or I would plan my lunches around that time. Like I would wait, like if the show started at 2:00, I would take my lunch at 2:15, 2:10, because the beginning is always just talk.
Yeah.
And then they get into the gaming side. So it maximizes my time to listen. As a gamer, I did that. So for me, E3 is important. It's a real big showcase for me. I understand that the industry has faded away on that side of things because, again, you have social media now, the platforms we have available to us. These games are mostly already talked about before E3 even happens, right? So even though that's cool, I'm still nostalgic, and I miss the big presentations, Show me on a big stage with the crowd going crazy what you're about to introduce.
Yeah.
So I'm glad for me, at least, even though it's a digital streaming thing, I'm still glad that E3 is back. Sony has not been a part of it for quite some time. So it has nothing to do with they have nothing to show off. They're probably going to have something to show off. Now, the question you had was, you think they're going to show it up before or after? I think to me it depends on what they are planning to show off. Because if it's a big, big, big IP they want to show off, such like Horizon or even God of War, which, by the way, that's not coming out this year. I know it's not. It just can't. But say Horizon, which they haven't said something about. If that's a big IP they want to show off, do you want to show that off before the big E3 event or after? You see what I'm saying? Do you want to try to steal the show? Is that IP big enough? Or if
I was going to say, right, are they going to steal the show with games? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
But that's what they do. But that's what Sony does.
No, yeah, that's true. With
they let their games talk. They've been about that. They
right
now
before even E3. Like, you think it. You know, they already announced as soon as Microsoft acquired Bethesda that announcement came out right away. We got the rumors, boom, they acquired it. But how crazy? Like, if they knew Sony had something coming out, they probably would have held on to that information and waited for like an E3. So you know what I mean? Just to,
that's true.
It's the same thing back and forth. How nobody wanted to be first to be like, oh, here's how much my console cost. It was the whole it's still a business, no matter how friendly they might seem on social media and stuff like that. They're still playing the business aspect. It doesn't matter how many games you think you could fucking crossplay under in consoles and stuff like that. I could be on PC, you could be on Xbox, somebody could be on Sony. It's like we're all playing the same game together. Does not matter. They're still in business and they're still in competition with each other.
This is true.
So yeah, I think holding out, but like you said, do they really have a lot of games coming out that they could do a whole little conference?
I don't know. They just released Abe's Odyssey on their PS Now or Plus or whatever they call that service. They just released that. They have Deathloop that was supposed to come out for the summer and have that gameplay for the summer, which I can't wait for that to come over to the Xbox side. I'll probably have a PS5 by then or whatever, just playing it on that. But just Deathloop got delayed to September, which again, great call. I'm not hating on that. Great call. Make that game right. But September, so that's summer game. What do they have for the summer? What was the other game they have coming? Oh, Returnal, which looks interesting. I just don't think that's a game that's gonna hold. It's just like Medium. It's not gonna hold you. You're gonna play the game until you've played the game and you're done with it. It's a roguelike style game. You're gonna play it till you play it and you're done with it. It's okay to accept that it's not gonna be a banger, as people call games. It's not a AAA banger,
Right.
Still skeptical at that $70 price point they got over there because it's a Sony exclusive, but it's not going to be a game that hold them off. Now, past that, I don't see nothing. Like that's always been my issue with PlayStation, not just now, but forever. They've been the company that has never been that transparent.
Yeah,
they don't talk about their services. They don't talk about their product the way they don't tend to be. They don't. What I'm gonna say? I'm lost words. They don't seem to want to build up their. No,
it's kind of like they just say when the product is ready to come out, they announce it. Here's what it is, and there you go. Basically,
and
right.
That community, they've been accustomed to dropping AAA titles, their single players. That's what they do over there. That's great. But I just don't know if they will do it before or after E3. And I don't think they have anything other than Horizon. If they do say something about Horizon, I don't think they have anything else coming out.
Now, another topic that we had.
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah. And another topic too that we actually had that we were going to talk about, which I guess kind of ties in with the E3, but the new Kojima Productions game.
Ah, man, God! Hey,
are we seeing that? Right? You think is there a possibility we're seeing that at E3?
From what
at least getting that announcement.
I follow Jeff Grubbs. He's spot on with his. He's always been spot on with his stuff. Before it even gets announced. And he's tweeted out, or he was on Reddit the other day, talking about how that talk between the partnership between Hideo Kojima and Xbox is now in lawyer stages.
Okay.
So if it's at that stage, that just means they're hammering out the numbers.
Yeah, they're just getting ready to ink the deal, basically.
Ink the deal, right? If it's there, it's there. So I think if you're Phil and you got like the hungry community that he has on the Xbox side, I think he wants this thing done now.
Yeah.
To introduce this for Xbox or for the E3 show and go, and by the way, and then introduce a Hideo Kojima game. Now, 100% transparency, and you know me, you know this from me. I have not been a fan of his games for quite some time. Yeah. I was a big fan of his original trilogy with MGS. But then as he got into the 4s and the 5s, Phantom Pain, and now what was the last game he got on PlayStation? That's on PC now.
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding. I have not been a fan of those kind of games.
Yeah.
It's to me, it just wasn't my thing. I'm not hating on the guy. The guy, I'm happy that those who are Kojima fans are getting, they might to get something on the Xbox that are Xbox fanatics and going, oh my God, I'm going to get a Hideo game on Xbox and possibly even Game Pass.
Right.
So I'm excited for that community. As far as I'm concerned, I have not been excited for a Kojima game in quite some time. I mean, the original MGS is because of the way the story planned out. The fact that, and I played that on PlayStation, I believe, too, where you could disconnect the famous disconnect the controller with Psycho Mantis and connecting it back. I mean,
yeah,
that was innovative.
Oh, the whole breaking the fourth wall in the games, and stuff like that.
The fourth wall. It was very innovative, very interactive. It involved the gamer with a controller in their hand to be in that game.
Yep.
Which is amazing and has something that has not been done since. Although I'm being told It Takes Two, which is that EA game that just recently dropped.
Yeah, the co-op.
It has something of immersion of similar to that. So I haven't tried that yet, but. Like that's when Kojima was making games like that. That's when I was interested in his games and I played them. I loved them. Loved his games back then. Zone of Enders. Did he make that? Zone of Enders?
Well, yeah, Zone of Enders. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the titles I enjoyed playing when he made them. But as of late, when it came to the whole Phantom Pain and this Death Stranding, I'm just not a fan of it. I played Death Stranding.
It almost felt like the stories get a little convoluted and stuff, and you really have to be a fan of, like, I guess
have to be
his storytelling and stuff to really appreciate what he's trying to do, because they seem off the walls. I mean, from a technical standpoint, Death Stranding might be the most prettiest game he's ever.
Oh my God, it's gorgeous.
I mean, between that engine and just everything, besides the story, whatever you want to say about the story and stuff like that. Because like I said, it's like being on like an acid trip, like when you're like looking at these stories, or in a major, feature film or things like the way that he writes stories. And it got a little crazy with Phantom Pain, even though it tied up the whole arc of Metal Gear Solid. If you think about it, it did, a lot of it came full circle. Even more so with MGS3. But the biggest complaint about 4 was the cutscenes.
The cutscenes,
like the cutscenes just took, and then they kind of fixed that where the cutscenes in 5 they were cool, but then the biggest thing was that Konami supposedly rushed him and didn't let him finish the game. And he says till he's blue in the face, like, hey, no, MGS5 is a completed game. That's how I wanted it. Which, as a gamer, I don't feel that way. It feels
the amazing part about it's in one sentence to hear that he got rushed. Kojima got rushed in the game. It's kind of it's funny because if you know Kojima at all, he doesn't create games in about a year or two. It takes him a while to create a game because he has a vision behind it. There's an art style to it. And every time he can, and I will not take this away from him, when he comes out with a game, every game he comes out with just builds on what he's already done and makes it better. Yeah. Phantom Pain is a gorgeous game. I played that game for about an hour or two. Again, not my cup of tea, but it is a gorgeous, gorgeous game.
Yeah.
I believe some people call it a walking simulator.
The Death Stranding. Yeah,
Death Stranding. I didn't get that far, so I don't know.
Yeah, UPS simulator. It's
that's
like or like FedEx or whatever. Mail-in meme joke you want to talk about basically.
That's exactly what I like. The memeing, that stuff has been happening. Yeah. Again, he's not my cup of tea in the last couple of games, but who knows? He could change my mind with whatever's coming out next. But very excited that there's a partnership going on. There's a rumored partnership going on between those two, Xbox and Hideo. I'm excited to see what gets presented. But I do think that if it is being talked right now, Phil wants this closed right now so that he can go ahead and introduce this at E3 and be just a mic drop moment. It's one of those things where he's been wanting the Japanese market the Asian market for so long.
Yeah,
on the Xbox side that. As you can see, little by little, he's been bringing that with Yakuzas and the whole Yakuza series on Game Pass, the whole entire series.
I'm glad they got the money to just like go out there and just make these deals and stuff with these publishers. It's cool.
And what's been proven is not just they got the money; it's sustainable.
Yeah,
sustainable. The biggest thing was with I hate going back to this, but Outriders being on Game Pass day one, third party, day and date. Oh, it's not going to make any money. You're not supporting the developers. Yeah, every time I go on Xbox, the top paid game on Xbox right now is Outriders. Yeah. Like that's the top paid game right now. So it works. Not just that developer, but other developers that's dropped their game on Game Pass. It's been proven they're making their money out of it. But not just money, exposure.
Right, and it's the misconception too that developers aren't getting paid with the Game Pass titles, but yet
Total
they
bullshit.
get paid up front, like whatever business is to be done, and then on top of that, they get paid depending on how the performance, how the game actually does after the fact, like downloads and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, and if the game includes any type of microtransactions and stuff like, there's
course.
always this splits. All of that is worked out before the fact.
Well, Phil mentioned it. Phil mentioned it that there's different because they asked him straight on an interview what's the Game Pass model.
Yeah.
And what they assuming that the model was one size fits all for every developer that drops it on Game Pass. And he debunked that. He goes, no, we don't have a model. Yeah. It's simply we talk however you want it to be introduced into Game Pass. Do you want it for this side of the business where you want to expose your game? Do you want it to make monetary value on it? Want to make money off of it? How long do you want it on Game Pass? All that gets talked about, and every deal is completely different, which is what makes Game Pass so sustainable and successful. Yeah. I'm not here to advocate for Xbox. They don't pay me, so that's just my feelings, my thoughts on it. Again, Sensei's thoughts. But moving on, I want to talk about. Did you hear about this thing with Spider-Man and Netflix, or Sony and Netflix? I should say
$469 million.
Shit.
I mean, is that worth the Spider-Man streaming library? Like, is that worth the library?
I don't think it's just Spider-Man, though. I think from what I kept reading, I think it's just they got first dibs. They were trying to
alluding like with more right. So Morbius, I think that's the one that they got coming with Jared Leto. And then I forget the other one. Just any basically, what is it? Any MCU?
Not MCU. Any
Sony.
Any Sony movie. Any Sony.
Right. So basically, it's just Sony production. So basically, Sony just came out and said, like, I'm not doing my own streaming platform, or I tried and it didn't work, because I believe they did try at one point.
They tried.
I believe they tried. I forget what, but it was something small and it didn't really do much. So they just said, okay, Netflix, here you go. And Netflix was like, sure, we'll take your movies, because why not?
Yeah, no, they tried it, but it was just one of those things where Sony, man, they just didn't do well with it. And I think from what I'm reading now is with the Netflix thing is just to have first dibs at streaming rights. You know how when a movie comes out on streaming, is like you find it first on Ultra HD, whatever it is, whatever platform service it is. That's what they're doing. You find it first here. So now when a movie comes out of theaters, Sony production movie, I know they only mentioned the superhero side of things, but I'm sure it's probably other stuff. It'll be first platform streaming on Netflix before anywhere else. How long? It could be 30 days. Normally it's about 30 days, but a minimum of 30 days. But from 30 days, it can last about 6 months or whatever the deal they worked out. But that's interesting because I look at it this way. Spider-Man being a Sony thing and them being involved in the MCU kind of thing. And, it always talks about, are they going to be part of the MCU or not? The last movie coming out is the last one for that partnership between MCU or Disney and Sony. Now that they made this deal with Netflix, I'm thinking, are they cocky now? Are they confident that the movie's coming out? Then after the part 3, because I'm assuming this Spider-Man that's coming out is also going to be part of that deal. But the Morpheus and any other movie coming out in the future, are they the Venom 2? Are they that confident that these movies are going to be successful to the point where that money they paid with Netflix, or I believe they were around, the money that Netflix paid them, is that going to be a good thing?
Well, you'd have to hope that we're at a point too in the recovery, like after the pandemic, where movies are coming out and they're doing well. Like, this is kind of like this is the cherry on top of the cake, and hopefully the cake is you put your movie in the movie theaters and it does well in the box office. That's where you really make your money, obviously. So, $469 million for any Sony movie going out for the next few years, because I know it was only for a few years, right? It wasn't like
for what the Netflix Sony thing.
Yeah, for the Netflix Sony thing.
I don't know how many years, but it was only for a few years. Not for like a long,
Right. So that's what I mean. So it's almost like kind of like we'll see how this goes. Obviously, they know that they're going to get, because this is for Netflix. It's okay. We're going to make sure we retain our subscribers, and we're gonna make sure that we have the content. So and who's going to yell at us again when we jack up our price another $1 in the next 6 months to a fucking year?
Netflix.
It's coming anyway. So, and this is just another thing that they could say, oh, look, but now you get Sony movies. Look, you're getting the Spider-Man movie here for, you know what I mean? Yep. So it's just another thing to add to the portfolio,
I guess.
So, they're paying for it up front. If they have the money to do so, they're trying to produce their own movies. They're producing their own content. You know what I mean? So it's like they're trying to stay in there. Me personally, like, I haven't been using Netflix as much. I've noticed I've been on Disney Plus a lot more.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
I also don't consume content and movies and things like that the same way other people would. Like, there are things that I watched on Netflix. There are a lot of original titles and original productions that came out on Netflix that I love. But I'm weird like with it. Like I normally wait for people's recommendations and stuff. I don't really go looking for new stuff. Or if I see a trailer for something, I'll go and I'll check it out. I think it's good to just have it. Like I'm like my family, like we all have it. Like my mom, we share the account and stuff like that. But they were even getting pissed off about that. It's like, oh, you can't share passwords. It's like, well, then don't give me the availability to make 5 fucking accounts. You know what I mean? And let me watch 4+ screens or something.
Yeah,
it's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's definitely on the Netflix side of things. It's content. Obviously, they want to stay relevant. You got all these. You got Paramount that finally came out. Paramount Plus. Then you got obviously you got your Disney Plus, which got their MCU content going on right now. So they're trying to stay relevant, trying to stay fresh. You can also catch superhero movies on our platform as well. So that's going to be one of the things for them is content. But for Sony's, for Sony, I'm not sure what that's about. I don't know. I guess they're banking on the popularity of Netflix to go, hey, guess what? Go to Netflix, watch our Spider-Man movies or Morpheus. I guess they're talking about that because at first, initially, I thought it meant they're going to use Netflix to launch day and date with the movie theaters. But then I was like, no. As I read more, I'm like, oh, that's not it.
Yeah, that's not it. Yeah,
that's not it. Which would have been a lot more money. But staying on the Netflix thing, throwing money at people. Hey, Netflix, I'm here. If you want to throw money at us, we're good. We can provide content as well. However, Knives Out. They threw like $450+ million at that just for the next 2 sequels, which I think the second one is being filmed now.
Is that worth?
That's insane. Is it worth that much? That's what I'm saying. But what's the value? I love Knives Out. That movie was great. That movie was amazing. It was funny. I can't wait for the sequel. I believe they're in pre-production now with that movie. But $450 million, and not only that, but the actors, Daniel Craig and I forgot who else, the other popular character in that. I think Christopher Evans.
Okay,
it's gonna be in it too because he came out at the end of that movie. They're gonna get paid $100 million up front. Boom, here you go.
But is that money coming from the Netflix deal itself? Like,
of course, I'm sure it's not.
So they're like, so they're like are they producing? Like, is Netflix now? Like, did they take over?
Yeah, it's gonna be on Netflix. It won't be. It's not like the Sony.
Right. It's gonna be like it's like what they did. It's like what they did with the The Irishman. Like it's their production. Yeah,
it's their production, and Netflix can choose to release it in theaters as well. But it is now their what do you call it? Their title. It's they have copyrights to it. It's theirs. They own the rights to that movie.
So that makes sense. So like a lot of that money then just went to basically paying the actors when you think about it.
Yeah, but $100 million. Hey, again, Netflix, we're here. Just whatever trickles down.
You want to know how much money Robert Downey Jr. made over the last couple Avengers movies? Like, and they were, really going to scoff over. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And like
that dude's going to live forever with that money.
He doesn't have to work and yet he still is making other movies and stuff like that. But you know what I mean, like
movies, which he doesn't even have to. He doesn't even have to.
That deal set him for life.
It set him forever, man.
Yeah.
And that was for him. That was like a great timing for him because with the career where he was at in his career before this happened, and then he gets this knock on the door saying, "Hey, we know you're going through your thing, but we want you to be Iron Man," which, by the way, was a risk taker because Iron Man was not done by Disney. It was done by, I believe, Paramount.
Yeah.
And they took a risk on that, and I believe Paramount had them and Hulk. And they took a risk on it. Hulk didn't quite make it out that whole thing, but
that was Universal. Hulk.
Universal. Yes, you're right. Universal.
The original, the first Hulk.
The first Hulk, yeah. But Paramount Paramount for Iron Man. They took a risk on that, and then I think Iron Man 3 is when it became part of Disney started helping out with the production costs and values. But yeah, man, Netflix is and it's crazy because I remember reading something a while back. I remember reading where Netflix is hemorrhaging money at one point or another. It was a while ago. It's like 3 years ago where I read something like this. I'm like, wow. I mean, because at that time they didn't have the original content they have now. They didn't have the shows that they have now, or I think that's when what's that famous? They pulled out. I think it was AMC or somebody pulled out and took all their content with them. I forgot what it was.
There was a deal. There was a deal that they had struck, or that they were working on. I guess that fell through. Essentially,
and it was a big part of their content lineup. And that's when the whole talk about them hemorrhaging money. They just throwing money at anybody now to get content on theirs. Then they struck that WB deal where, a week after the season finishes of Arrow, Flash, or whatever it was, a week after they get all the episodes, that kind of the whole season. But Netflix
that's what WB.
WB, yeah. So anytime,
which is hysterical because there's this little streaming service called HBO Max that literally is Warner Media, but yet I don't know. That must have been a lot of money there, because why wouldn't you just put it underneath your own house?
And I believe that was a few years ago. They like 3 years ago they came with that agreement.
So this was before they had the actual.
Oh, it was way before. So I'm assuming that deal is either coming up to an end or is about to end.
Whenever that deal does end, though, for damn sure that's all coming over to HBO Max.
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. And by the way, HBO Max is I love that service. We get like what day and date movies like King Kong and Wonder Woman, but they mentioned that in 2022 that's all going to stop. It's all going to go to movie theaters going forward, which makes sense.
Makes sense.
But other than that, the last thing to end the show, I'm a kid when it comes to this one. No pun intended. No pun intended. But Alex Kidd. You remember that game at all?
Vaguely.
Okay. Alex Kidd. I played this damn thing when it was on Sega Master System back in the days when it was just like the A and the B button, or Sega Master System was 1 and 2, wasn't A and B. But Alex Kidd in the Miracle World DX will be on every platform available to mankind. Even the Stadia, for the two that bought the Stadia out there, it'll be on your platform as well. For those 2, or I think it's 3 now, because they had 3 that pre-ordered.
It went up to 3 people. Okay.
Yeah, 3 people. Good shit, guys. Keeping that system alive.
You better hope you never get a Google sponsorship talking all that shit. Talking real crazy out here, acting like the internet's not real and like people can't go back and look at previous podcasts and stuff and analyze what was said.
I love Google.
Yeah.
So
good one. Good fix.
Alex Kidd will be. It was announced June 24th. It'll be dropping on almost every platform possible.
That's pretty dope. Is it the original? It's just like it's the original game, basically.
It's basically the original game remastered or remade, I should say.
Okay, that's cool.
But it's a shout out to Hebot on Twitter. He tagged me on this when he posted it, and when I saw it, I just turned to a little kid instantly, excited about this. This is to me the original Mario Brothers. It is what I played when I was a kid on the Sega Master System. It was just crazy because the main enemies on that, there's 4 of them, but out of the 4, there's 3 of them that like literally their heads.
Every time you say Sega Master System, I get a little pain because I remember my baby sister at the time pouring bubbles in my system.
Oh my god!
Because I used to play the baseball game. I played the baseball game, and I forget there was another game I used to play, but I remember I had a Sega Master System. This was before the 16-bit, like the Genesis, obviously.
Yeah.
And I just remember it being ruined by bubbles being poured into the fucking system. So I just want to, because I'm over here thinking, I'm like, I had a Master System, and then it's like, which was also destroyed by a sibling of mine. So it's like, fuck, dude. Horrible. Great memories, but no, it was horrible.
That sounds truly horrible, bro. Wow, that sounds horrible. But I want to. It's one of those things where it was my Mario Brothers, man.
That's awesome.
I was saying that the 4 main enemies out of the 3 of them, their heads were literally rock paper scissors, like the hands from the rock paper scissors. So when you fought them, and it's gonna be in this game too. When you fight them, the mini game is rock paper scissors. Man, this game. I'm telling you, man, it's nostalgic. I can't wait for it to come back.
Is it in all platforms, including like, are they going to do like
everything?
Okay, so that is PC.
All platforms. It's going to be on PC, all consoles, like your handheld devices. Everything's going to be on that. So, it's you got to look it up. It's one of those things where I wish I had gameplay right now, but it's one of those things where I'm excited. Oh my god, I'm so excited about it because, again, it was my Mario, and again he bought second shout out. I thank you for tagging me on that, brother. That was a good tag for me. It is one of the reasons I remember. It reminds me why I became a gamer, why I love gaming to this day. Yeah. It's just one of those games that was everything for me. But Sega Master System, I just dated myself too. So if you guys do the math,
I was playing it too. So it's like you might have been you were a little bit older playing it. I was younger playing it, but I dated myself too, if you think about it. But yeah,
Jesus Christ. Well, so that's it for our show today. We spoke a lot today. We spoke about Outriders, E3, Sony not being there, and the ones that are going to be there, like WB, Xbox. We spoke about Deathloop being delayed to September. Great call. I support that. The deal between Spiderman and Netflix. I mean, that's not just Spider-Man, but the streaming services that they have first dibs at whatever comes out from Sony on streaming platforms. So they have first dibs on that. The Hideo, Kojima, and the Xbox possible rumors, possibly partnership going on there. And hopefully Phil can close that out as soon as possible so we can get that at an E3 showing. I think that's going to be the plan for that. So I'm excited about that. I lend my thoughts on that. And then Alex Kidd in the Miracle World DX, look out, it's June 24th, guys. Please check that game out. It is a side scroller, but it's nostalgic as shit. And I love that game. But I digress. Logic, tell them where they can find you at.
It's the name right there, Logics_so_sick on all media platforms, social media platforms.
Go ahead and change that over. There you go.
Yep. So yeah, man, that's pretty much what it is. I tweet a lot more than anything else. I don't really.
Pretty cool. You can find me again. You guys know me already. I'm always on Twitter. Some people even accuse me of not sleeping. I don't, man. I got my notifications on all day, every day. You
lurk. That's what it is too.
I lurk every.
I lurk too. Yeah.
I lurk. I'm that guy that wants to be up to date with everything gaming, everything in the news, everything in the media. So, but you can find me. We have our tags right there. Mine is at Sensei Kills. That's at Logics _. Right there. At Logics _so_sick. You can find us there. But other than that, guys, please don't forget to like, retweet, subscribe, all that stuff you guys talk about. But don't forget to do all that. I appreciate you guys' support every single day. But other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. I hope your weekend went well. And as always, fucking happy gaming.